So here is our 3D model. We could turn it any which way to view. It's kind of like Blender. Okay. So what we want to do next is pull up our wireframe or our base frame here. So you're going to go over to the right and double click Ped Default Texture. So once Ped Default Texture comes up, you're going to have another tab and it's going to be this wireframe. It's the same thing as this 3D model. So whatever you put on this, it's going to show on the 3D model. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and pull up our template that we already have. And it should be under templates. And I'm going to choose a face that's a skin texture that's closely matched with my picture. So since she does have a darker tone, lighter tone, I'm going to use this one. Now I can show you guys how to get the other skin tones easily, but they'll be through another video, a little short video. Or I can just provide the skin tones in another file. So I'm going to choose this one. So I'm going to take this one, drop and drag it into the template. And as you see, it's there. You want to make sure you hit enter, because if you don't hit enter, it will not transfer over to the OBJ or the 3D model. So there you have it. You have that template, you have their eyes. So back on the wireframe, you do have the teeth. So if you have a pet that's talking, you should be able to see the teeth. In our folder, I did provide the teeth. So if you want to use the teeth, you can, but we're not going to work with that now. We're just going to make sure we get our face on first. So here is your template. So the next thing we want to go ahead and do is edit our picture. So we're going to pull back up our picture that we want to use, or what you can do is File, Open, Desktop, or wherever your file is, double click, and then there you go. So you can do that either way. So there are multiple ways of getting the face and putting it on this mesh here. So I'm going to show you the way that is easier for me, and in another video I will show you another way of how you can do it. For this tutorial, I'm just going to show you the way that is a little bit easier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get one side of her face, one side of your person's face here. A lot of times you can just use the full face if it is straight, but a lot of times their eyes do not match up. So that's why I tend to just use one side of the face and then just flip it and use that one side as the other side. So in order to do that, we're going to go over to the left and use the rectangular marquee tool. Click that. And then we're going to attempt to locate the center of her face. So I will say right here, I want to make sure you start from the bottom. And I think I want to use this side, because this side is pretty cute. So I'm going to use this side, drag, and go all the way up to the top of the picture, or however direction you are at. So I'm going to do that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is right click and layer via copy. And it's going to copy that side of the face onto a new layer right here. So now what we want to do with this layer is go up to edit, transform, and flip horizontally, or horizontal. All right, so we have it now on the other side, that layer, and we're gonna go to the left and hit the move tool, and we're gonna get this on the other side, making sure that it lines up. So you see how she has this crease. You want to move it over a little bit more, that way that crease is not, you can barely see the crease. If you can, I know a way to get it to not look as such. It is a line through her face. Okay, so we're gonna do it like that. And I want to show you how to get rid of the lines if yours do have lines. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on how you do it. But I'm going to go to edit. Just to widen out the face a little bit, I'm going to go to edit. Make sure I cut my layer. Edit, transform, or free transform. And then I'm going to widen it just a bit, so her face isn't so narrow. Alright, so pretty much like that. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and get the line out of her forehead, as you can see here. So I'm going to hit the eraser tool. I'm going to select like an area there and hit OK. And then I'm going to go over to where, and the hardness has to be at 0. Since it is a small area, I'm just going to go down and just start erasing. Not too much, because you don't want to look like it's a dark spot there. So I'm going to Control Z because it looks a little dark. Alright, so yeah, so that's how you get the hardness out of the lines. You're just gonna choose your eraser tool, choose a color on the face, make sure it's that color, and then just start erasing. So as you can see, I'm gonna choose a different color like this, and I'll say like this color right here, so we can fix her nose. And I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit more and just start erasing. It's a little bit dark, but that's okay. It gets the line out of the face. Okay, so now that the line is out of the face, what we want to do is go ahead and merge this layer down so that it's all one picture. So we're going to right click the layer and hit merge down. All right, and then go back over and hit the move tool. That way you're not messing up your photo. Okay, so now that we have our picture, what you want to do is go ahead and drag this picture over to your mannequin head or your first OBJ. All right, so now that we have our photo there, what we now want to do is go ahead and lower down the opacity. So I'm going to go over to the right, lower down the opacity. For this part, I like to leave it at least 50. That way I can kind of see the background and see the picture there as well. Next, we're going to go at the top and hit show transform controls. And we're going to get the face to match up with the OBJ. So I'm just going to zoom in at 100%, maybe 130. Try to get it to match up. The eyes with the eyes, the mouth with the mouth. As you can see, this is big. So I'm going to widen this out because it wasn't that like that. All right, and let me make it taller. It doesn't have to be perfect at this part, but just make sure you can get the eyes with the eyes. Bring it down some more. I'm gonna zoom in maybe 200, see how that goes. So the eyes are with the eyes. The mouth needs to be down a little bit more. So I'm just going to stretch it out, make it bigger again. And we're going to zoom it up. Okay, it's getting close, getting there. I'm gonna widen again. All right, so like I said, this part doesn't have to be so perfect, but we want to make sure that it's almost lined up closely. All right, let me turn down the opacity. It is at 60. Turn down a little bit more. And I'm gonna pull it up a little bit more. Definitely like to make sure that the nose is where it should be. All right, but you don't want to make it too big. All right, let me push it up some more. All right, so this is as close I can get it for now. Like I said, the nose has to be spot on for me. All right, so we're gonna leave it there. Now the mouth is a little bit off, and the nose is the nose is as well. But we can definitely go ahead and fix that. First, you wanna hit enter, and then you're gonna go to the top, hit filter, liquify. And here is what we're gonna work with. First, you're gonna go ahead to the right and hit the chains for the eyes so that it doesn't move the whole picture or anything. Then you want to make sure show backdrop is checked. We're going to choose layer 1, which should be your picture, and keep this behind. And we're going to go ahead and change down the opacity, and I like to keep this one really at, I'll say 30. You can see, kind of see the picture now. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom in. I'm gonna do 200. And this is how you can move the eyes, make it bigger. For an example, see how in the background the eyes wasn't matching. So I'm gonna match the pupils, and I'm gonna turn it just a tad bit because that's where her eye should be. Make it smaller. Now, if it doesn't turn all the way, it's okay, because we're gonna keep using liquify to get it to the point where we want it to go. So that's as far as it will turn for me. So I'm gonna leave the eyes how it is right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do the nose, slide it down. I'm gonna bring the mouth up a little bit. And you want to make sure that the mouth isn't too big, and you want to make sure that the center of the lips is in line with the center of the lips on your model. So I'm going to bring down the nose. Make sure these are there. And the mouth match up. Just gonna bring down the lips a little because they're a little bit too big. And I'm gonna see how it looks in the background. So I'm gonna change up the opacity. maybe just make it a little bigger, not too big. All right, so it isn't perfect right now. It's all it can actually do. So what I'm gonna do is hit OK. That way it locks it in like that. So like I said, it isn't perfect right now. So I want to go back in and hit filter, liquify. Remember not to hit the first liquify because it will make your photo do this. You don't want that. So you want to go back up, filter, hit the liquify here. That way we can come back into here. Lock the eyes, go down, hit layer 1, and then we're just going to do it over again. So this time I should be able to rotate again, see, to the place that I want it to rotate at. All right, and then I'm gonna move the nose down a bit because that was an issue, and then I'm gonna move the mouth down as well. All right, so you want to just make sure it's lined up. I'm gonna make it a little bigger because I did see that it wasn't as big. Okay, so these are perfect. You just want to make sure that your picture doesn't look crazy. So that's why I did change up the opacity. You don't want to make it look too crazy because it will look like that. All right, so there we have it. You can also make the face wider if you need to. But not really necessary. All right. So definitely want to make sure the eyes match up because it will automatically delete the eyes out. All right, so once we have that done, we're gonna hit OK. And I feel like that is perfect, spot on. All right, so we have that on. What we're gonna do now is go ahead and change the opacity back up. She looks weird right now, but once it's on a OBJ, it'll look fine. All right, so what we want to do is go ahead and copy this layer. So right click this layer and duplicate layer, press OK. All right, so now what we want to do, we just want to try to get rid of our imperfections. So what we're going to do is go over to, it may already be up here. Just go ahead and find your healing brush. You might have to right click there with 3 dots and go to spot healing brush. All right, so we're gonna change it down. And we're gonna do that here. So just make sure it just matches her tone. We're just gonna do her facial features. Let me change it to her actual skin tone. And we're just gonna hide her facial features. The mouth as well. And the nose. So pretty much like this. So next we want to do, we're going to go ahead and stretch out the the picture here. So I'm gonna get it back to 100% so I can see the whole picture. And we're gonna make sure this layer is clicked or highlighted. We're gonna hit the move tool. Make sure the show transform controls is on. And then we're going to hit edit, transform, and then warp. So what we want to do now is just try to get the photo out. And this is actually helpful for when you want to blend in the face with the skin. So change down your opacity a little bit. So just a little bit, not a lot. Just a little bit. Just like an inch or two. So like I said, this is helpful for when you want to blend in the skin with the whole OBJ. So you'll understand when I get to the next part. All right, so once we confirm that, we're gonna go to the top and hit the check mark to confirm. We're gonna turn back up the opacity. And we're gonna create a clipping mask layer here. So to create a clipping mask layer, you're gonna go down to where it has this circle in a box, looks like a camera, and add layer mask. So it's gonna add another clipping mask there. All right, so next you wanna make sure that the clipping mask is selected. White lines are around the corner of it. You're gonna go ahead and switch it over to your white color picker. And then we're gonna hit the, oh, let me go back, the white color picker. So switch it over. And then we're gonna hit the eraser tool. And then we're gonna do a big one here. So if you get this pop-up, could not use the eraser because no layers are selected, what you're gonna do is reselect it. All right, and after you select it, hit the hide the second layer and erase. That way you see your OBJ. All right, so you should see a black, all black square there. All right, so now what you want to do is reselect your layer 2 so that we can see the picture. So next, what you want to go ahead and do is switch this over to the black. Still on our eraser tool. We're gonna just turn the eraser a little bit down, not a little bit, but a lot. All right, and you'll see why we did the previous step here. All right, so we're just gonna go around the face. And you see our skin is coming up here. As we go around the face, our skin should be showing. So I'm gonna make sure our skin is showing. And around here. So it looks similar to like this. Like I said, this will help blend in the skin once you are done. All right, so now what we want to do is go ahead and merge our layers down. We're gonna right click on the copy layer and merge down. And then we're gonna merge merge down again on the next layer. Now you may get this pop up, like I said, 3D version is going away. So it would say could not edit texture directly. Please open the textures and choose a editable target. You're gonna go to change target texture. You're gonna right click this texture and hit rasterize layer. Alright, so we're gonna go back over to our OBJ, right click layer 2 and merge down. Alright, so it is merged. It may look weird a little bit. Don't worry about that. It's gonna be fixed. So let's go back to our move tool. As you can see, you get the gist of it. I feel like her nose could have been over a little bit more. So this is where you would just play around with it sometimes. But it should be okay. So we're gonna go back over to our wireframe. And as you see, here is our picture on our OBJ. Okay. Alright, so what we want to do now is change the lighting of the head or of the face. So we should come over here to where it says Infinite Light 1. Select that. Then we're going to go up to Properties. Hit Custom and 3D Print Preview Lighting. As you see, it looks different now. It looks a little better. But as you can see, like I said, the nose for me could have been a little bit better. So that's where you guys go in and edit what you have to edit as far as that. Alright, so my thing ended up shutting down, so I had to redo it all over again. So might look a little different from before. So like I said, just go ahead and get back on the Infinite Light, press 3D Print Preview Lighting, and this is how it should look. It should look a little bit better than mine. So once you take your time and edit it, you can take off the shadows from beneath, make it look a little not shadowy, or however you like. You can make it a little lighter if you want, put a little lightness in it. I did edit it. His nose is still kind of messed up, but that's why you can take your time to edit it. So here we go. You can remove the shadows, which I normally do, and I kind of lighten it up depending on skin color, or you can darken it up. So just remember that this is how it's actually gonna look in game when you do mess around with these shadows. So you don't want to keep it here and think it's going to be lighter in game. No, it's not. So get it as bright as you want. I just play with saturation. So this is how I kind of want it. And you just double click in, and it should look like this. Like I said, it's not the best right now because I am teaching you guys. So when you guys do it, make sure you do it correctly and take your time with it. All right, so now that we have that on, what we're gonna do is edit our grid. So we're gonna go back over to edit the grid, and you should see your pet face like that. And we're gonna import another of the background texture layer. So go to File up here, hit Place Link. Then we're gonna find that skin again, or that texture. So should be on the female templates in that same template. Press Enter or press the check mark at the top. And you want to right click this and rasterize the layer just in case it needs to be. Alright, then we're going to create a clipping mask here. So hit the square with the circle in between. Make sure that the clipping layer is selected. And we're going to hit the erase tool. And we're going to go in and erase so that we can see our face here. Make sure the opacity is all the way up to 100. Just gonna go in. Be sure not to go all the way like over here, because you might end up pulling the hair or part of the face that we don't need. Making sure not to go all the way up. So everything in between here, it's okay. So this is perfect. So you want to get it to like this here. Making sure that your whole face is in, not to go too far around the outer corners, because remember, if we do, we're pulling other things. Alright, so next what we want to go ahead and do is get our background to match with our face. So we're going to click the face here and go to image, adjustment, and then exposure. So this is where you have to just play around with it so that it matches your face. I think that is a little bit good. Let me see if I can. I like this. So I'm just going to test it out to see how it looks. So I'm going to hit OK. It looks like it matches. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just merge this layer down. Alright, so we have it. Here is your ped. And it'll look like this. So like I said, don't mind like the nose part. You want to edit the nose as closely as you can. And you made a face. That's all you have to do. Alright, so since we did change the exposure on the model, a lot of times you would have to go back in and change the eyes and the teeth. So here is a quick example of how you can edit that. So we're going to go back into our folder, female, do the eyes. We're going to drag the eyes here or into a new. You can do it from here, but just to show you guys, go to file, open, eyes. And then what we're gonna do, we're just gonna cut around the eyes, whichever eyes you want. Say I want this green one, so I'm gonna try to attempt to get the green eyes here by using the lasso tool over here. And we're just gonna cut around. There is another tool you could do to use a perfect circle. If you know that tool, great. You can use that. So I'm just gonna cut that. Gonna hide that layer. Use my move tool. Bring it over here. Place it there. And I'm gonna stretch it. right, and hit enter. And as you can see, I changed the color of her eyes. Same thing if you want to, so like I said, the reason why I did that is because we changed the exposure, and you don't want the exposure, the eye pupils, to look like the brown part of your face. So I'm gonna do the teeth as well. So I'm going to import or open female. You can use teeth, or if you want, you can use the same template just to get the regular teeth off this template. If not, and just do the lasso tool as well and just cut around this and place it on. Or you can simply do this. Just remember, you have to get rid of that brown parts and everything. So it's really a lot of editing, and just put it on top. All right, so you won't see this part in the photo, of course, because only when you do that, and you could just merge them down, merge them down, merge them down. All right, and other things you could also add are hair lashes, edges, and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and add some edges. Just drop it on, press enter. You can merge it down. And as you see, she has edges on. So if you are making these for a customer, my advice is to ask them if they want edges or not. A lot of times you don't have to put in edges because in the game they already have edges. But if they want edges, I usually charge more, or would charge more if you want to add in extra details like that. So one last thing, what we want to do is go ahead and merge everything down. So our next thing we're going to do, so I'm going to remove the edges just in case. I'm just going to remove the edges, and I'm going to remove the teeth because we don't really need it. And I'm going to merge down the eyes. Boom. All right, so there we go. So in actuality, all we need is this template here. That way we can place inside the game. So I'm just gonna save this as a JPEG. So here is your template. Like I said, it should look much better than mine. This is just a sample. I'm trying to get you guys to learn how to do this. So like I said, it should be a lot better than mine.